Welcome to Inside Eastern Utah. I'm Shannon Hughley, and this is Scotty Draper, and we are here with Christine Watkins, who is the incumbent for District 69 representative.
Yes.
We have been doing some, we've got a hot election cycle, and so we've been fortunate enough to be able to interview all of the candidates. So thank you for joining us today.
You bet. You bet. I'm glad to be here.
We're excited to have you and to hear what you have planned for your campaign and for your constituents. So do you want to start by giving us a little overview, a background of your experience, who you are, where you come from?
Okay. Well, I've lived in Emory and Carbon County ever since 1972. Moved here when I was just a child. No, really not a child. My oldest
She was only a year old at that time.
Actually, my oldest was a year old at that time. But finished my degree here through USU Extension, and had to wait for a while to get a teaching job because they were hiring all the older ladies who had graduated the same time a lot of us young ones had graduated. And then I started, was able to get a teaching job. Actually started over here in Carbon County mid-year, and then went to Cleveland Elementary, and then spent the rest of most of my teaching career at Castledale Elementary. So education.
I don't remember you. When were you at Cleveland Elementary? I grew up in Cleveland. So
okay.
I
My
Cleveland
first
Elementary.
year, it was before they did the remodeling, so it was
Okay.
like 77, 78 or something,
I-
so way before.
I was just born.
And there were a lot of my former students who are still here
Okay.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go. I mean, my one claim to fame is I taught Dr. Gagan in 5th grade.
Oh, how fun.
So I
You
just,
set him on the path to
I'm
success,
just
right?
like, yay! I mean, anyone who was in my classes, I hope I taught them, but we also had a good time.
Yeah.
So, and then I, went to work for UEA, and then was able to retire, and well, I ran for this position, and so I did this for 4 years, and then I was out for 4 years, and I've been back for 2. And as silly as it sounds, with 6 years, because of the turnover,
Sure.
and especially this year, we have an unusually high number of turnovers. 6 years gives me a lot of seniority, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah,
Good.
seniority can play a big role.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
it gives you chairmanship of committees or co-chair, and it means that really, of course, this happened to me this last 2 years. When I speak, they listen because they know I'm rural and they know I'm very passionate about it. So, been very successful.
Well, great. So you have served for 6 years, obviously gave you a lot of experience in serving the public, being a public servant. What else throughout your background has proven to be beneficial to make you a good public servant for your constituents here?
Well, I've lived here. I
Yes.
raised my 5 kids, 4 sons and a daughter, and was very involved in all of their activities. In grade school, you do the junior jazz, you do the dancing, you do gymnastics, and then in junior high, the boys went on to wrestling and basketball, same with summer, and obviously in high school, because they all went and graduated from Emory High, we were very involved in that. I was on the Planning and Zoning Committee for Castledale City, which doesn't sound like that a lot, but I was on it for a very long time. I loved it, and we did a lot of things in helping to plan for the future. And I don't know that we plan for the future that they have quite right now, but I think that's going to be changing. And I did the Miss Emory County, where I worked with the youth a lot, and of course in church I worked with the youth. I was one of those that did real well with teenagers, so I did a lot of things with the teenagers and teaching. So I've done a lot of teaching, a lot of things in the public, and plus just living. I love to attend all the activities that communities have, and so I feel like I'm involved,
Yeah.
and I know what people feel like, their heartaches, the successes, and the things that they set their goals for.
Well, if there's anything that prepares you to be a servant, it's being a mother, right? Being a parent and working with kids. So
Yes. Well, Christine, you talked about being kind of in touch with the people here. So if you are reelected, you've already got a little bit of experience in this, but how do you engage the residents of District 69, and how do you solicit their concerns and ideas and what's going on?
You know, I tried a town hall once. My neighbor came. We live by each other. And then we did another one during the session I did with Senator Hinkins. But I have been, because people know me and they know my cell number, my email, I'm very approachable. And because when people call or email me with a situation, and I realize this is something that's going to take some of my time and maybe some legislation, I'll say, can I come to your home? Where can we meet? Do you want to come to my home? So I get to know them and they get to know me. And a lot of the people that I've actually run legislation to help have become very good friends of mine. And so it's just a part of me is to get to reach out to people. And I write the articles in the newspaper and I'm on the radio. So people, I think they feel like if they don't know me, they do that way. And so I've been trying to be very transparent in what I'm doing. Now, some of the issues that I deal with, I can't talk a lot about in public. I can say I did this, but I won't say who, because it's private for them, not for me, but for them.
Right.
And so I've just, because I'm out there, I can't tell you how many times people come to me just because I'm at the Helper Arts Festival, or I'm at Smith's or Lynn's, or just any of the local stores. People say, hey, I've got this problem. And I'll say, okay, let's talk about it a little bit, and then let me get your phone number. I'll get in touch with you. And I just work really hard to be responsive and feel like I've been successful at that.
So you never have a quick trip to the grocery store?
No.
You got either plan like 2 hours or go at midnight when no one's
say,
there.
honey, I'm going to the store. I'll be back when I'm back.
It's like, see you tomorrow. Now, obviously, people are very comfortable coming to you with their concerns, their questions. I'm sure a lot of concerns that people have brought to you are about the energy industry. Do you think there's anything that can help invigorate that energy industry here in our area?
Well, we've had two great things just happen. We've literally got now 2 ports that are going to become available for coal. The one that we just won the lawsuit in Sacramento, and then the other one that 2 weeks ago I went up north. It was during the Governor's Energy Summit, and we learned about the port in Baja California, which is Mexico. It's a state there, and they have a port there, and we already have all the railroad lines, except they need to build 60 miles to finish off this. And so the governor had gone for an economic finding out kind of trip, and they came back and said, this is what we want, and we want your coal, we want Wyoming's coal, we're going to mix them together, and we want your oil byproducts, and we want all of these things not only to ship to Asia, but to be used in that part of the country because they're growing. And so we've got that port and we have this other one, and they're both going to take, this one will not have any litigation. I'm not sure. There could be a little bit more on this side, but they'll both take about 2 years to get everything ready, and away we go. So to me, it's like, yay.
Great news.
Yes, yes, hang on.
Good. Hey, what do you feel like are the most critical issues facing District 69 at this time? We talked about the energy industry, and that's on everybody's mind because coal is our roots. We are Carbon County. What other things do you think are critical issues that need to be handled?
Well, one of them is the opioid crisis, and I'm involved in that with a committee. And as we know, Carbon and Emory have really been hit by those. I mean, I don't know of anyone that hasn't either lost a friend, their kids have lost a friend, they've lost family members.
Right.
It's just every time we read the obituary, somebody's there. So that's a huge issue. I know that the commissioners are going to file suit. I'm going up Thursday. The Attorney General, Sean Reyes, is going to file suit against the big pharma companies too. So I've been invited to that press conference. But so we have that one, and then we have another one that goes along with education. And we need to be preparing a lot of our youth for the world of work. Not everyone wants a 4-year degree or a 5-year degree or whatever. I mean, that was good for me for my time. But now we need people to have the ability to get certificates and stackable certificates. So I start out basic in this profession, and then I can add to it and stack on and make a good living.
Right, we need tradesmen.
We need tradesmen. I love my plumber. I love my electrician. They're important to me. And so we have this dual program. They've already been doing it over in Duchesne and Vernal. We need more of it here. And thank goodness President Noel Crockett came down and said that's what she envisions for here. So that's going to take Carbon High, Emory High, working with USUE in all of these programs. And it's going to take some work and some money. And I'm willing to go to bat to fight for that.
Great. And Noel Crockett is the president
Of
of
USU.
Okay.
Yeah, in Logan.
Great. Well, we talk a lot about issues, and I'm sure a lot of people that kind of find it to be a hurdle getting in touch and connecting with elected officials. They feel like there might be some distrust there, or maybe they can't connect on the same level. How do you connect with constituents and build that trust with them?
Well, by just the fact that I live here, I go to church here, we have a grandson living with us. The parents were all busy, they needed a soccer coach, so I just finished a week ago, coaching a team of 8-year-olds in soccer.
I didn't know you were coaching.
Yes,
That's
and
funny.
so I had Wednesday night practices and Saturday games. A couple of times legislative things took me away, and the parents stepped in and helped. So I'm there just as a grandma, because now my kids are all grown and raised. And so, like I said, I attend all the functions. I have a Facebook. I have a website. I have the cell phone. We're in the phone book, but I don't listen to my answering machine every day. So if you call on that, give me a day or two to answer on that one. I mean, it's just so easy to find. And I've written articles, and I'm on the radio. Even with campaigning, I'm out there trying to remind people that the election's coming up, the things they need to do. And I'm just me, you know. I have no aspirations to do anything but be a good representative, and that's important to me. Can I really represent you? And people will call me, they send me texts, and I answer. I love texting because then you can just do it really quick. I've been knocking on doors and just trying all the things that I've done in the past to make myself accessible to people. And I really, if I can't do legislation, we try to fix whatever the problem is in a different way.
Okay.
And so it doesn't always take legislation. Sometimes we just have to meet with the right people and do some talking. And I've had a lot of training in all that kind of, all those kind of skills. When I worked for UEA, we did a lot of bargaining training, a lot of negotiating. There's some other things that we did, and the word has left my mind. But so there's just a lot of things I've had training in, and they just seem to naturally fit into doing this.
Great. Well, I know we didn't have a lot of time to dive into there's plenty of issues and plenty of experience to talk about, but we appreciate you sharing a few minutes with us and giving us some insight.
Well, thank you. It can be daunting to be taking care of life and campaigning, but it's what I love to do, and hope that people will continue to support me.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Yes,
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a few minutes with more on Inside Eastern Utah.